What is the biggest risk in your life right now? Most people would say losing money, choosing the wrong investment, or starting a business that fails. But what if the biggest risk is believing you have already considered every risk? The world's greatest investors learned the painful lesson. Disasters rarely come from what they expected. They came from the blind spots. They never questioned. You know what? School taught us to find the right answer. It rarely taught us to challenge our own assumptions. If you believed you could still be wrong, you would make far better decisions. You know what? Risk is what's left over after you think you've thought of everything. Not just about predicting the future, but rather about staying humble enough to survive it. This is Harlan Winter. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. 3 truths about building wealth that schools choose to hide. Your biggest expense is not what you buy, it is the years you wait. And many people chase certainty before investing, and they sacrifice the one asset they could never replace. Long-term investors have accepted imperfect action, and if they start waiting to feel ready, they would own farmer by 40. The market does not reward intelligence, it rewards emotional control. And many brilliant people predicted everything and lost money. Moreover, the world's best investors have mastered patience more than prediction. If they control their emotions, they would outperform their knowledge. You do not stay broke because you earn too little. You stay you stay stuck because your identity protects the life you already know. And many people feared losing comfort more than missing opportunity. Additionally, self-made wealth builders have rebuilt their beliefs before their portfolios. But if they change their identity, they would change their financial future. So, wealth is rarely blocked by information, it is blocked by hesitation, identity, and the hidden cost of staying the same. Not just about learning how money works, but rather about becoming the person who can keep it. This is how long winter. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. People value the value you create. The biggest mistake is believing the world owns your attention. It does not. Many people jade recognition before becoming useful, and they stay frustrated when opportunities never came. The highest performers learn that income follows problem solved, not effort shown. The most schools taught you how to answer questions, and they rarely taught you how to become the answer to someone else's problem. Well, if you focused on becoming undeniably valuable, you will stop competing for opportunities and start attracting them. So, the uncomfortable truth is that the market does not pay you for your potential, but it pays you for the value you consistently deliver. Not just about proving your worth, but rather about becoming someone whose value is impossible to ignore. This is Harlan Wintat. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. Pay yourself first. This lesson comes from the author of The Richest Man in Babylon. Why can 10% of your salary make you rich? Because the first 10% is never about money. It is about identity. Most people believe they invest what is left after spending. Wealthy people spend what is left after investing. The hidden cost is not the missing 10%. It is teaching the brain that your future always comes last. If you paid yourself first every month, you will stop building a lifestyle and start building ownership. You know what? The top investors did not become wealthy because they found extraordinary investments. They became wealthy because they protected the habit that made compounding possible. Not just about saving 10% of income, but rather about proving to yourself that your future deserves to be paid before everyone else. This is Harlan with that. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. 5 steps to make money from the things you fear most. You don't charge for your knowledge because hiding your skills creates zero value. Many talented people stay silent and watched less capable people earn more. The creator economy has rewarded expertise over perfection. If they shared before they felt ready, they would build opportunities faster. Say before you feel confident, because confidence usually follows action. And many beginners waited for certainty and missed their best years. Successful founders have launched imperfect products. If they embraced rejection, they would grow much faster. Raise your price because undercharging attracts the wrong customers, and many professionals work harder for less money. And top performers have learned the price based on value, not effort. And if they respected their value, others would respect it too. You know, Invest before you know everything, because waiting is often the real risk. And many people studied endlessly and never started. Experienced investors have learned through small mistakes. If they acted earlier, they would gain experience sooner. Build in public because visibility creates opportunity. Many people protect their image and stayed invisible, and more creators have grown by sharing their journey consistently. If they stopped fearing judgment, they would attract the right people. Well, the thing you fear most is often where your next level of income is hiding. Not just about overcoming fear, but rather about turning fear into an unfair advantage. This is Harlan Winter. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. The greatest cost is not losing money. It is delaying the person who could become. You know what? Most people in their 20s do not waste time doing nothing. They waste it preparing, comparing, and waiting to feel certain. The world's best investors learned that hesitation compounds just like money. Acceptance compounds regret. You do not need another year of research. You need one decision repeated for 10 years. If you accepted that clarity comes after action, you will stop negotiating with your future every day. The truth, nobody teaches this. Your financial life is rarely limited by opportunity. It is limited by the stories you keep telling yourself about why now is not the right time. Not just about having more years, but rather about making your years impossible to waste. This is Harlan Winter. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. 3 lessons millionaires learn but never talk about in public. You know what? Wealth grows after your identity changes because money follows behavior, not motivation. And many people earn more after promotions and returned to old financial habits. Self made millionaires have rebuilt their thinking before expanding their wealth. And if they changed their identity first, they would stop repeating old money mistakes. The hardest investment is saying no, because every distraction quietly steals future wealth. And many ambitious people chase every opportunity and achieved very little. Moreover, top investors have become more selective as their wealth has grown. If they protect their focus, they would multiply their results. Freedom comes from owning less than you can afford because financial pressure destroys clear thinking. Additionally, many high earners upgrade their lifestyles and stay trapped by bigger expenses. Financially independent people have chosen flexibility over status. If they valued freedom above appearances, they would build lasting wealth. So, most people believe wealth changes who you are. In reality, who you become determines whether wealth stays. Not just about becoming a millionaire, but rather about becoming someone wealth can trust. This is How Long Win Thật. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. 5 secrets your boss hopes you never find out about money. Your salary has a ceiling because your time has a ceiling. Many high performers worked harder every year and received small raises, and top wealth builders have focused on ownership instead of only employment. If they owned assets instead of only selling time, they would build wealth much faster. You know what? Loyalty is rewarded emotionally because it costs less than ownership, and many employees stayed for decades and missed bigger opportunities. Moreover, modern professionals have changed jobs and negotiated their value more often. And if they treated themselves like an investment, they would increase their earning power. The biggest raise rarely comes from working harder because leverage creates more value than effort. Additionally, many people became indispensable workers and remained financially replaceable. And successful individuals have built skills that generate income beyond one employer. And if they develop income projecting skills, they would depend less on one paycheck. And being busy feels valuable because it keeps you from building something of your own. And many professionals filled every hour with work and postponed investing or creating businesses. And more often have realized that free time can become wealth building time. If they protected a few hours each week, they would create future freedom. Your job pays you to solve today's problems because tomorrow's wealth comes from what you own. Many workers retired with memories of hard work but very few assets. Financially independent people have calculated businesses, investments, and cash flow assets. If they bought assets while earning salaries, it would change their financial future. So, the uncomfortable truth: your boss is not your enemy. Your paycheck is simply designed to reward today's work, while wealth rewards long-term ownership. Not just about becoming a better employee, but rather about becoming an owner. This is How Long Win Thật. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. Top 3 wealth secrets that hide from you until you turn 30. 1. Real wealth grows through assets because assets continue producing income over time. And many people focus only on working harder and chasing promotions. They remain trapped by the paycheck cycle. You know what? Wealthy individuals have invested heavily in businesses, real estate, and stocks. And more young professionals have started learning asset ownership. If people learned about cash flow earlier, they would stop depending only on salaries. So, assets create long-term freedom, not just about earning active income, but rather about building passive income. Well, 2. Financial freedom depends on habits because small daily decisions shape long-term results. Many adults ignored budgeting and spent emotionally, and they accumulated debt without realizing it. Moreover, modern consumers have faced endless advertising pressure, and disciplined investors have become more careful with spending and investing. Additionally, if families practice stronger financial discipline early, they would avoid many money problems later. So habits silently build or destroy wealth. Not just about making money, but rather about managing money wisely. 3. The rich buy time because time becomes more valuable than luxury possessions. Moreover, people trade expensive lifestyles and work non-stop for appearances, and they sacrifice freedom and peace of mind. Successful entrepreneurs have prioritized leverage and smart systems, and more investors have started focusing on freedom instead of status. If more workers valued time above social approval, they would make very different financial decisions. So, freedom is a real luxury. Not just about owning expensive things, but rather about owning your time and choices. This is Harlem Winter. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. 5 signs you are secretly terrified for your financial future. You avoid checking your finances because the truth feels, uncomfortable, and many people ignore their bank accounts and felt more stressed later. And financial apps have made tracking money easier, and if they reviewed their finances regularly, they would feel more in control. And you rely on one paycheck because it feels safe. Moreover, many workers lost jobs and struggle financially, and more people have built multiple income streams. And if they diversified their income, they would reduce financial stress. You keep delaying investing because you fear making mistakes. And many beginners waited for years and missed compound growth. Additionally, more young investors have started with small amounts, and if they started earlier, they would build more wealth. You spend to feel better because emotions drive decisions, and many people bought things impulsively and regretted it. Financial discipline has become more valuable than ever. Yeah, if they controlled emotional spending, they would save more. You hope money problems will disappear because planning feels difficult, and many families postponed financial planning and paid bigger challenges later. And more professionals have created simple financial systems, and if they made a clear plan today, they would gain confidence tomorrow. So, the real warning: financial fear usually comes from uncertainty, not income, not just about making more money, but rather about understanding, managing it wisely. This is Harlem Winter. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. 4 life schools told you about how to get rich. 1. Good grades. Guarantee success. Because knowledge alone is enough. And many students earned top marks and struggle financially. And people have realized that skills, the ownership, matter more. You know what? If schools taught financial literacy, more graduates would feel wealth. So, grades open doors. Wealth needs strategy. 2. A secure job creates wealth because salaries seem, reliable. While many workers stayed employed for years and remained paycheck to paycheck. And additionally, more professionals have built multiple income streams. And if they own assets, they would gain more freedom. 3. Saving is the best strategy because, risk feels dangerous, and many families save faithfully and last to inflation. Moreover, smart investors have focused on more long-term growth, and if they invested earlier, they would retire sooner. 4. Failure is bad because mistakes lower grades, and many people feared failure and missed opportunities. Moreover, successful entrepreneurs have treated failure as feedback, and if they embraced calculated risk, they would grow faster. The real lesson: school prepares you to earn a living. Wealth comes from learning how money works, not just about getting, education, but rather about building financial intelligence. This is Long Win Thật. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. Top 3 reasons why nobody wants you to achieve financial freedom. 1. Financially dependent people maintain systems because predictable consumers support economies and corporations, and many workers follow traditional career paths and depended completely on monthly salaries, and they remained trapped by financial stress for decades. You know what? Modern entrepreneurs have started questioning old financial models, and financially educated individuals have focused more on ownership and independent income streams. And if more people understood how financial systems operated, they would make very different decisions about money and freedom. So, dependence keeps systems stable, not just about earning a paycheck, but rather about building independence and control. 2. Financial freedom changes priorities because people with options think differently about work and time. Many adults chase promotions and status constantly, and they sacrifice freedom for appearances and temporary comfort. Wealthy individuals have prioritized assets and leverage for years, and younger generations have started valuing flexibility over traditional success. Moreover, if schools taught time freedom alongside career success, more people would question endless hustle culture. So, freedom changes how people live and work, not just about making more money, but rather about owning or your choices in time. 3. Financial education creates independence because knowledge reduces fear, and people avoid learning about investing and trusted outdated financial advice blindly, and they stayed financially confused for years. You know what? The internet has made financial information before accessible, and disciplined learners have started building wealth outside traditional systems. And if more families discuss money openly and honestly, future generations would avoid many financial mistakes. So, knowledge creates financial power, not just about understanding money, but rather about understanding freedom. Well, at the end of the day, what keeps people financially trapped? Depending only on salary income, spending to impress other people, ignoring investing for too long, fearing calculated financial risks, avoiding financial education outside school, chasing comfort over long-term freedom, or trading time endlessly without ownership. This is Long Win Thật. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. Top 3 reasons why school never teach you how to buy real assets. 1. Traditional education focuses on employment because schools were designed to prepare workers for systems and companies. Many students followed academic rules and memorized information for exams, and they graduated without understanding investing or cash flow. Modern entrepreneurs have questioned outdated education models, and more young people have started learning financial skills online. If schools taught us building seriously, many students would think differently about money and freedom. So, schools mostly train workers, not investors, not just because getting good grades, but rather about building real-world financial intelligence. 2. Financial education stays limited because practical money skills challenge traditional beliefs about success. People study for degrees and search for stable careers, and they often ignored ownership investing opportunities. Additionally, the internet has exposed millions of people to business and investing knowledge, and financial independence has become a bigger goal for younger generations. If more families discuss assets openly at home, young adults would make smarter financial decisions earlier. So, financial literacy changes how people see work and wealth, not just about earning a paycheck, but rather about creating long-term ownership. 3. Real assets require patience because wealth usually grows slowly and gradually over time. And many beginners jade fast money and followed short-term trends. They lost focus on long-term investing. You know, experienced investors have continued buying valuable assets consistently, and disciplined wealth building has become more respected in recent years. If people understood compounding earlier, they would stop searching for instant success. So, patience creates stronger wealth than hype, not just about making quick profits, but rather about building lasting financial freedom. This is Ho Long Win Thật. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching. What keeps people financially overwhelmed? Depending only on motivation, spending without a clear system, ignoring automation and investing, working harder without long-term planning, avoiding financial organization completely, chasing quick money emotionally, confusing business with progress. So, here are top 3 reasons why a simple financial system beats hard work, and schools disagree. 1. Simple systems create consistency because routines produce emotional financial decisions. Many workers earn decent incomes and work extremely hard, and they still struggle with saving and investing consistently. Successful investors have relied on automation, investing, and extract their financial habits. And financially disciplined people have started simplifying their money management. And if more families build simple financial systems early, it would avoid many long-term money problems. So, systems create stability better than motivation alone. Not just about working harder, but rather about managing money with consistency. 2. Hard work alone becomes exhausting because income stops when effort stops. People work overtime constantly and sacrifice their health for financial goals, and they remain trapped in the paycheck cycle. And modern wealth builders have focused more on automation, assets, and recurring income, and entrepreneurs have started prioritizing leverage over endless labor. Well, if schools talk scalable income strategies seriously, more workers would think differently about financial freedom. So, effort without systems has limits, not just about increasing effort, but rather about building sustainable financial structures. 3. Financial systems reduce stress because clear plans improve long-term decision making. You know what? Digital tools and financial education have become more accessible, and disciplined individuals have started tracking cash flow and investments more carefully. And if people followed simple financial systems consistently, they would gain more control over their future. So clarity improves financial outcomes, not just about making more money, but rather about creating financial direction. This is Ho Long Win Thật. If you want to change your life, change the way you speak. Thanks for watching.